Hi everyone.
Hello, hello, hello. All right, so we have gotten the feel free to start signal. So, hello to day three of LensFest, and this is our talk on connected lenses. I'm really excited to dig into it. Um, it is a wildly powerful feature that I have been excited to be playing with. So, I'm Aaron Clifford, a game and XR developer, and yeah, I'll pass it over to Philippe.
Likewise, hi. My name is Philippe. I'm an AR creator, AR developer. I'm super excited to show you this feature on connected lenses. Had a tremendous amount of fun building this lens. And yeah, after the video, we can talk through a little bit about how it works, and I can also share the link. And I know we both have a ton of stuff to say about this technology. So yeah, without further ado, roll the video.
Welcome to Connected Lenses Sandbox Experience. My name is Filip Baba from Anyworld, and today I'm going to be showing you AR Creator and how it works.
We've made a connected lens that basically takes your world and augments it with different kinds of 3D objects.
So what we're actually doing here is we're placing these 3D objects inside the real world, anchored to a space in the real world. We currently have 5 objects that are selectable from the UI on the bottom: the tree, the rock, the grassy plain that's being placed right now. We have the recycling bin, and last but not least, we'll also show the traffic cone. But basically, the way that it works is we're using the connected lens template. What this allows you to do is it allows you to scan the environment around you. Once you've scanned enough of the environment around you, we're going to be creating what's called a shared space. So upon completion, the lens will present a snap code that then your friend can actually share the space that you're in.
I wanted to have an experience where you can have multiple people interacting in the same space and kind of co-creating together. The whole project is very modular, so we're able to switch out any of the assets. Right now we have some nature assets, so we have some street props like traffic cones and recycling cans, because we always need more recycling cans.
This is actually how I reserve my parking in New York. That's right, that's my parking. And here we have the world that I quickly created, still anchored to the same space I was working in before. What's powering the AR Creator is actually the connected lens template that is available in Lens Studio. So to find it, just search connected lenses, and it will direct you to this page where you get to learn a little bit more about how connected lenses work. Our example is actually built on the block drawing example, which I will go over in a moment. But if you want to find out where you can get this template to also get started with it, you can scroll down all the way to the bottom and you can click download example connected block drawing, and this is where you can download the project. Now the block drawing example has all the features that you need to create a connected lens and to also create this type of AR placement that you see here. So in this example, there's actually like a very clean grid, and you can kind of create these different colored blocks that you can place inside this grid. So here we are in the AR Creator Lens Studio project. And as you can see here, we have the full functionality that we had in the lens, but in the editor. So I can actually just click Launch AR Creator here, and we are presented with 3 choices. So Start Solo, as the name implies, is it allows you to start creating just by yourself. Start with friends, or start with friends in your room. The main difference is that there will be a process where you actually have to scan your environment, and then if you scan enough of the environment around you. Once it's completed, a snap code will appear, and then your friend will be able to scan that, and you will be in the connected experience creating together. So in this example, I'm just going to click Start Solo, and here we have our tree. And this is of course just a sample video in Lens Studio, and if I click, the tree gets placed. If I click, or if I want to switch to the grassy plain, I could switch. Recycling bin, and so on. Let's say I want to grab another object. So we have a lot of really great assets in the asset library. And I've actually gone ahead and used the Bitmoji Nature asset library and the Bitmoji Urban asset from the asset library. This is some of the assets that you see here. How about this tumbleweed? And now I can take this tumbleweed object and I can just drag it into my prefabs folder. Now that I have it in my prefabs folder, and it has the correct material that I want, now I can add it to the AR creator. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just delete the Bitmoji Nature pack, and I'm going to go into block drawing, the block drawing script, and again it's just called block drawing because we based this lens on the block drawing example. In the future, a lot of this stuff is going to be renamed. So I'm going to take the tumbleweed bind rig, let's say, and I'm going to replace it. Let's say I'm going to replace the stone with that. Let's see that. There we go. So there's our tumbleweed. It's a little bit hard to see in this environment, but here where it's more shade, it's a little bit better to see. But fairly easy to modify using the PBR nodes in the material editor. But yeah, so that's how easy it is to replace one of the prefabs with another one. Obviously we would need to replace the UI, and as you can see, the lens is actually fairly small, so it's currently only 1.55 megabytes, which is actually pretty great. We have a lot more room with the new lens size. It's actually 8 megabytes maximum. So we could fit a ton of 3D assets, or maybe fewer but highly detailed ones. So there's many possibilities with connected lenses. Some namely being, for example, one user can create the environment around another user while they're recording a video to post to their feed. Now imagine if you're recording a video, you might not be able to actually place the assets since you're busy creating your content, but you could have a friend to help you out and actually place assets around you. Now there could be all sorts of comedic props, like, you know, maybe like having the floor crack underneath you, or maybe a funny animal that jumps on someone's head. The possibilities are really endless. Some other cool use cases that I could think of would be like, for example, creating a world and actually using some of the local storage functionality to save that world and then load it up later. You could maybe share worlds with your friends and see what they've built and co-create together, maybe edit their world and etc. It's more of a proof of concept than anything, but I'm very excited about the future of lenses and the way that we have very easy to use spatial computing. It's accessible to everyone now, and not only that, but multiplayer AR, coming from an AR development background, it is not an easy task to create a multiplayer experience of any kind, let alone an AR multiplayer experience. But with Lens Studio, it's pretty much just a few clicks away. And with more and more templates and with more and more examples from creators and our community, I'm very excited to see what everyone will be making in the near future. So again, thank you for watching my presentation, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye now.
Hi, I'm Aaron Clifford, and I'm here to talk about connected lenses in Lens Studio. Social AR experiences. Of course, my favorite topic, video games. The thing for me is that games have always been a social experience, whether it was with my friends, or playing in Dungeons and Dragons, or even just playing single-player games, and then showing up at school and talking strategies and trying to figure out how we were going to beat the next boss. It was always social for me. And that's what I love about Snap Connected Lenses, is that it is by default social, even when you're playing by yourself. I think it's a really, really powerful way to kind of connect people in a way that we haven't had the opportunity to before. I still remember my first taste of games. I'd walk down to the end of the block because that was the family that had the Atari 2600. And that was when I first got hooked. We had so much fun playing that together. Even back then, I would always love to experiment with making my own games on the different consoles. I remember the Atari 800 XL, I think it was, had a cartridge that you could plug in that would allow you to program in BASIC. And that's where I got my very first taste of creating games. But the game that really got me hooked was a game called Carnage Heart for the PlayStation 1. This game was based around the premise that you had to program your own artificial intelligence in order to take down your enemies. And for me, that blew my mind. As I moved from console to console, I got more and more enamored with the idea of playing games with other people, especially as we moved into the Street Fighter days, and it was all we wanted to do. Over the years, as each new technology came along, I always thought to myself, how can I use this to make games? Whether it was mobile phones or personal computing or whatever it happened to be, I always wanted to know, how could I make this social? How can I make it fun? When I first started playing around with Snapchat, I started doing it mostly to prototype augmented reality things very quickly. I soon realized that this was yet another platform we could use for video games. I realized I had a lot of assets I could use to make those games. It wasn't until recently, when they added connected lenses, that I was able to make truly social experiences. Sure, the single-player experiences I made were fun, but I still wanted more. I still wanted things like being able to send and receive information from other players, and the ability to store your data so that you could access it again later. But now Snap has changed all that. I don't have to be envious of all those games I saw on the other side of the lens carousel anymore. So when I set out to build a game for Snap, I had a couple of goals in mind. First, I wanted to make sure that it was collaborative, not competitive. I wanted something that people could enjoy together. Second, I wanted to make it something that you could come back to time and time again, that would have a persistent state that you could play and then share that with others. And third, I wanted it to be something that felt natural, tied to the earth in some way. Almost healing or restorative. I know that was a bit of a lofty goal, but still, it felt like it was something that would be fun. So to tie all of these together, I came up with the idea of Crystal Seekers. Crystal Seekers is a game where you have your own base that is stored in the connected lens, and you go out into the world, place your base, collect energy for it, but the energy is only really useful if you send it to a friend. And that makes it exciting for people to play in groups. Your bases slowly drain energy unless you're out there collecting energy and sending it to each other. To get started, I pulled apart the template and I looked at the things that I would need to keep. I didn't want to build it all from scratch because I knew I had a limited amount of time. One thing I realized early on was that I had to change how I thought about lenses in order to make a connected lens. One thing that I've always done is I created a lens, I'd send it out and hope that it did well, and then I'd only ever really change it if there was something broken or if there was something really glaring stylistically that I wanted to change. But connected lenses were different. With a connected lens, I could think of it like I think of any other game. I could version it, I could allow it to grow, and I could make sure that if it wasn't the most fun experience on day one, I was continuing to build upon that initial base. In order to do this, I had to pare down and think of a very simple JSON format that I could use for saving my data. I decided to go with just a couple of different crystal types and then a core energy statistic. I used the persistent storage system. This allowed me to save and load this JSON data using JSON stringify and JSON parse. This was really, really crucial to me because without the ability to save your energy and take it from session to session, the gameplay didn't really work for me as a connected experience. I realized that probably what I was going to have to do is make sure that this data would be continuously checked and updated every time they launched the lens, just to make sure it wasn't out of date. This would allow me to add other crystal types in the future if I wanted. Next, I looked at the building blocks section of the connected lens. I realized that since this was the one that I was going to want to modify, I'd need to pull it apart a little bit and make sure that each button did something different. I did this pretty simply in code, and I thought that it worked pretty well. I went into the splash, menu, and co-located flow section of the template, and I updated it with all my own logos and titles. I took some time to design the bases and to design some crystal creatures that could be used to help collect your energy and to send it to your friends. I made all of my 3D assets in Blender, and even though they were very simple shapes, I still used an armature and posed it in order to do the animations for both the move and the hovering. I really felt like the creatures that I was designing needed to be animated in order to feel alive. Otherwise, they were just floating pieces of rock. While this was a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, I had a lot of fun doing it, and I really feel like in all of the connected lenses that I've seen, anything with animation really pops. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted this project to be something that I could iterate upon. I wanted to be able to add more crystal types, more energy types, and more types of interactions as I moved forward with the lens. I definitely had spectacles in mind when I was creating it. This was important to me because I really wanted to see what it would like to experience augmented reality in the way it's meant to be experienced. I definitely had a lot of fun building this, and I think that a lot of the experiences that I build from now on will be connected experiences. Even just taking the kids out to the beach and scanning for crystals on the beach was a lot of fun, and I think that it's something that we can do together either in solo mode or, as they get a little older and get their own devices, we can go out and we can play it together. Hey everyone, so hope you enjoyed the presentation. We've got a couple more things to chat about here. And Filip, is there anything that you wanted to talk about on yours, since yours was the first one, and we can continue?
Yeah, for sure. So I really love, by the way, how you went into the JSON data format. And for anyone that's looking to store data like locally in your lens and for connected lenses, that's probably your best bet. I was using something very similar on my end as well. And basically each block, so we had like 5 prefabs. So each block has a unique identifier, and that has to be sent over the network. So if you have 2 people using a connected lens and creating like that world around them, when someone places a tree, the other person will also see a tree. If someone places a rock, the other person will also see a rock. So that data is being sent across. In a later version of my lens, I would like to also add persistent storage. So maybe you can save world and share worlds with people, but that's, was a little bit out of scope for this one, but that's definitely something I would love to do. I did also want to share the link to the lens if anyone wanted to see it. So it's very early right now, but the link is right here. So, and I'll actually drop the link in the chat as well. But yeah, if you just look up AR Creator and my profile, you should be able to find it. But I will copy this so everyone can have it that's also viewing in the chat. And anyone that's also watching this later on can just either scan this snap code or just copy this link right up here. So yeah, I'm just gonna stop sharing. And yeah, Aaron, if you wanted to go ahead.
Yeah, so there were a couple of things also that I discovered as part of this that I thought were super useful. So I'm going to just present my screen here. When you're building your connected lenses, one of the things that's really cool is that you can actually go in up here and make sure that you choose. There's 3 different environments. So the plane I found was especially helpful just for doing a quick layout for like testing how it would work in a wide open space. All right, so
I love this new template, by the way. This is so cool. The environment.
oh, I've paused it. That's why I'm. All right, let's try that again. There we go. So yeah, so this once you've placed your base, it takes your thing off, but you can see like in the environment, you've got a really nice. So I had made it so that the audio, which I'm not going to play right now, but the audio will actually boost as you get closer to the crystals, and so and it also you can see starts affecting the color grading. So that helps you kind of find it. So it's kind of a game of hide and seek right now, trying to find it. And then once you track it down, occasionally, and this is the other thing that I wanted with the world, with the ray tracing is with the world mesh is I'll be able to like detect hit points on the mesh to make sure it falls inside. Because right now I'm just putting it at a distance, and that can sometimes end up being just outside your walls, which is not quite what I intended. But yeah, so once you get in and you find your energy, which I'm not sure why I'll just redo that. But yeah, so changing the environments, this is what I was saying here, is that it made it a lot easier to like kind of test it in an open space, which I think right now for connected lenses, definitely prefer them outdoors. Let's do a quick run around here till we find it. There we go. Okay, good. So yeah, so then it just is a game of hide and seek, trying to keep your energy up. In the multiplayer aspect, you're actually finding your energies together and then sharing them. And each energy contains a certain crystal type that either slows down your energy drain or makes it so when you share with others, it increases the amount that you give to them so that your ratios are better. So really, it's just about running around, finding crystals, and sharing those crystals with other people. And yeah, so I found that being able to go between those different things was really good. The other thing I found was that being able to pass that data in a very simple format was really, really nice and really, really useful. So right out of the box, the building template allows you to instantiate a prefab and have it appear for everyone. So that's one of the very, very simplest things you can do in the connected lens. And right out of the box, you can have that done in like a couple of minutes. So I know when connected lenses first launched, I was a little intimidated. And then as soon as I like took the leap and got into it, I was like, oh man, like you can get some really simple, really cool things out of the box just in minutes. And I don't know why I didn't expect that, because that has been my experience with every single one of the templates that Snapchat's ever put out. But yeah,
I can second that too. That it was a lot easier to get set up than I initially thought it would be. I was mainly intimidated because it was going to be like a multiplayer experience and sharing that data over the network. From my experience as a developer, making anything multiplayer just increases the difficulty by an order of magnitude.
yes.
But yeah, but the templates have really, really come a long way. And I'm excited to see, how the templates are going to evolve. And it's going to be really important how we use it as well. And I've noticed that depending on how the creative community uses the templates, the templates evolve. And personally, like for AR Creator, I'm planning on creating more features on it, allowing you to edit, allowing you to delete objects that are there, adding more types of objects, saving worlds, and then in turn sharing them as well. But one of the biggest things that I would like to do is actually do a little bit of a video on explaining how it works, and kind of like a little tutorial on how you could make something similar, and possibly even making a template out of it as well. And Aaron, I know like I would love to sit in on a video of you like explaining your storage format and sharing that across the network as well. I think all this stuff is going to be super useful, and anything that can help the community like kind of build out these kinds of experiences. I'm just excited to see what all of you will create with these tools, and hopefully we can at least pave the way a little bit and kind of show you what's possible. But sky's the limit, so you can just kind of keep taking it. And I heard someone in the comments asking about adding physics. That would be super cool. Like, and with some of the previous talks, with some of these new features that have come out, physics and world meshes combined with connected lenses, combined with local storage, combined with spectacles. Really, like the sky's the limit. And I also believe that this is going to work really well with spectacles, anything that's spatial computing, moving objects around, attaching them to the real world. I would like to personally have it work with both, so someone could wear spectacles and another person could just be on their phone, because we can't expect everyone to have a headset, but everyone does have a phone at least. So that would be that's the kind of stuff that excites me. So time permitting, soon enough I will be releasing this template and doing a little explainer on it, and hopefully we'll improve it a lot by then. Some of the comments coming in were like, I would like to resize the stuff. The tree doesn't fit in my living room. The tree is really huge. It's kind of meant to be like out in the real world. If you saw my video that I recorded on the sidewalk, the tree is kind of life size. So the idea was that you can actually kind of create this whole area, walk away from it, and walk back to it. Traffic cones themselves are also kind of really huge. So scale is a really big important factor in any kind of like spatial computing and AR. And but in any case, the stuff's out there. People can already start playing with it and trying it out. I just thank you for the opportunity to demo this work, and I hope to take it to the next level. And Aaron, also amazing presentation. I love what you did there. I'd love to learn more about how it works as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited also, like you mentioned, for spectacles and for getting sort of some of the other features that are available in Lens Studio working with the spectacles, things like the hand tracking. I'd love to be able to kind of reach out and touch some of the things in the environment, and pass them around and have that work within the connected experience. So that's definitely something that's on my roadmap for Crystal Seekers. And for anyone who's watching this, feel free to reach out to me on Snapchat. And all of the code that I'm putting into this, I'm not a huge believer in the things that I make are trade secrets or anything. I feel like knowledge is only more valuable when it is shared. So I'm more than willing to help and share this. I'll probably be putting a lot of it up on GitHub and doing my own YouTube tutorials on some of this. So it's this has been a really, really exciting opportunity, and I have I'm just lit up with the potential that this has going forward. So I really appreciate this, and thank you everyone for joining us. It's been a really amazing couple of weeks getting this ready.
Yeah, thank you everyone again, and I hope you had a really great Lens Fest. I hope you learned something. I hope you got inspired, and see you next year.
Excited to see everyone next year. Hopefully, we got to do this in person at some point. So
I really hope the next one is in person. I can't wait to see all of you all again. in real life.
Yeah.
And then we
Yeah.
can play connected lenses together.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what you create. But we can play connected lenses together even remotely. So that's awesome.
That is true.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.